So I just had to come on to remind y'all that, you don't have to really understand something to make peace with it. You don't have to understand it to make peace with it. And that's a lesson that I wish I would have gotten like a lot earlier in my life. But things come in time, you mature enough. And I don't think time heals all. I think some deep reflection with God and some deliverance helps you get past situation. Because, baby, some people still bitter about some things that done happened 10, 20 years ago. And really and truly, sometimes you be around people, or you've been in a situation, could be a relationship, whatever it is, to whatever capacity, you be like, dang, the whole time I was loving you, but y'all was really being strategic with me, like you was making moves based upon what you could get from me, or making sure that I did X, Y, and Z, whatever that might have been. And when we look at situations like that, we'll then start recapping times in our mind, like, 1 + 1 didn't equal 2, and I just let that go. I should have addressed that right then and there. And you start blaming yourself like, dang, how could I let somebody rob me out of a house and a home and I ain't never see the signs, or whatever the case is. A lot of times you got to be okay with having been a genuine person. And I had to learn to forgive myself, for that. Like, no, I'm glad I'm solid. I'm solid because of who I am, not because of who you are. And that's going to always be a part of me, and I learn to deal accordingly with you. But at the end of the day, sometimes you be like, that's crazy. Like, you couldn't even afford me honesty. And I'll be the first person to say, I don't ask much of a person. I don't ask people to do too much for me. But sometimes you're asking just for honesty. And one time this person said, I guess you're just wired differently. They chucked it up to the fact that I'm just wired differently, because if I got something to say and it's on my chest, trust and believe I'm not going to talk to nobody else about it but you. If I don't like something, I'm going to talk to you about it, because you the person that I'm going to have that issue with. If I miss you, I'm going to call you, say, hey, miss you, honey, what you been up to, whatever the case may be. I don't withhold those things. But some people, they have a tendency, a lifelong cycle of doing things in order to get to the next level. So it creates this cycle of anybody, even the most genuine people that come into their life, they're never able to really connect, love on them from a genuine space, because they're always afraid of somebody getting them. Why? Because they are the deceivers. And the deceiver is always going to be afraid that they are going to get deceived. Y'all should know that. So when you get into a situation and you really don't understand, like for years, I've been loving on y'all, or I was your friend, or some people like, dang, I put in work for you. And you telling me in my 30s and whatever else that you don't want no children, and you the baby, I would have left you when I was 19, 20 years old if I knew this was going to come to what it was. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to make peace with those situations. And that's really for your own healing. And you can look back at your old self and be like, from where I've come, honestly, all the hurt, pain, suffering, whatever else, would you do that again to be in this position? And my answer is yes, 10 times over. 10 times over. Some people got to be 50, 60, or 70 years old to learn certain lessons. But look at you. You in your prime and you learning. Yes, you got hurt early, so your ladder should be greater. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when you have those little thoughts that pop into your head and you be like, man, I should have peeped that long time ago, you have to be okay. You are operating from a genuine space. You can't pay for the fact that people are disingenuous. What are you going to do? That's not a part of your makeup. And those some things you don't have to understand, but you better make peace with that. And as you look at people's life cycles, you can see, take it as a man. This man couldn't be honest with you. Seemed like he couldn't, tell you how he really felt to save his life. And at the end of the day, later on, they may be with somebody else, have a child. They can't be honest with their partners at that time. They can't be honest with their children, because they always got this facade. They always got to have something as a cloak on them. And the great part about keeping it real is ain't no image, baby. What you get is what you see. So for those of you who are out there, who are a wired person like me, where you keep it real and you don't understand the fake, listen, we're going to have to give some understanding to make peace. Yeah, it don't have to make sense to us. But hey, I can understand. You can't afford and be genuine with yourself. So what I was asking from you cost too much for you. Yep, it was too expensive. And you could just really equate that to the fact that you ever see people with, they be like, oh, the membership here is only $1,600. And you like, $1,600. That's a little bit like $2,000, baby. I don't care how sweet you try to make that seem. That's high to me. Yeah, you cost a lot. You cost a lot, and you have to be okay with knowing everybody is not my kind. Everybody's not my type. Because for me, for years, I was around people that, I was around but never connected with. Like I did for them, but they wouldn't know half of what I had gone through, been through, going through at that moment. And I would give all of that again and again and be able to go through cycles as I needed to get to this point. Because if you got a few people, a handful of people that will love on you, that see you, that genuinely see you for who you are, not based upon other people's misconceptions of you, not based upon judging you based upon their insecurities, but for who you are, you blessed. You blessed. So for those of you who are still in the middle of that journey that some of us have come out of, there's light at the end of that tunnel. That's okay. Just stop trying to connect with those people. Go ahead and let the relationship go now. That's okay. Save yourself some investment right now, because you could pull out before it's too late. You ain't got to invest going to weddings, being beside people just for them to try to compete with the old you and who you are 10 and 20 years ago, who you were. As soon as you're not in them friendships and them situationships, you're going to understand, oh, there was competition here. Oh, there was some jealousy here. Oh, you didn't really love, there was some strategy going on. Meanwhile, I was just being stuck on stupid, being genuine with you, because that's all I know. But I'm not going to fault myself for anybody's decision that they made while I was being genuine, where I had no strategy and motive with you but to love you and be there for you. That's all right. So for those of you who, have not yet made peace with situations you don't understand, ask God to continue to help you, because every day that is a situation you have to choose in your mind. Peace. I choose peace. I know I could be pissy about the situation, but I'm choosing peace, not pissiness, okay? Yes, people can mess around and find out what you about, but it's not even a need. God will show them in due season, and usually it ends up being they can't connect with nobody, not their children, not their lovers, not people that really love on them, and that's the curse that they live in. Meanwhile, eventually you get past that stuff, and God got green pastures awaiting you. Love you much, and just know again, it's light at the end of that tunnel.